with seizures taking CBD. And you'll be absolutely amazed from someone who's used to going into like 5-minute, 10-minute seizures, to coming out of a seizure because of just a few drops of oil around the gums and under the tongue. I mean, that is just absolutely life-changing. But again, that is an argument of... you could say that's an argument of emotion. But to be honest with you, it's not. It's a medical breakthrough. Absolutely. But let's look at how fellow conservatives attack marijuana, okay? So there's a popular website, a popular conservative website that I chose to look up, some information, because I use them a lot, honestly, whenever I'm looking up information. They're called Town Hall. If you haven't heard of them, it's really good stuff, really great opinions, and, like I said, I read it myself, so, we should really check them out. But they wrote an article about the 5 reasons marijuana should remain illegal. And of course, like I said, this is going to be a conservative point of view, which is usually the common case. It's usually a conservative fighting against marijuana, when in reality, like I said, us conservatives need to start fighting for marijuana. Because, first of all, it's going to bring in money to the state and into the government. However you look at that, I think it's pretty much positive. Especially if we had better representatives, but that's our job, right? Or bring more money to the state, better medicine for people who really need it. And then the money made from recreational use, oh my gosh. And then it brings in jobs like nobody's business. Farming jobs, it brings in people working in shops, every which way you could think on the spectrum of retail, all the way from people who actually make the textiles and, plants and, the foods and all that stuff that, that's being made, all the way to the person who's selling it to you at the cash register. It will make jobs all the way through that. So, but let's go into this article, before, because I can sit there and rant. Because, I just really don't understand why this, I can understand a level, and that's why I want to break through some of these arguments, because they're just so emotional. And, whenever we decided, hey, yeah, let's MAGA with Donald Trump, we said, okay, well, we're going to break through all this emotional arguments that the left is giving and use our logic and use our understanding to battle all the craziness they come up with. So, it first goes on with, how do we end up in a world where big gulps are being banned in New York while the welcome mat for potheads are being rolled out in Colorado? It's like, okay. Well, first of all, none of it should be banned. You shouldn't be banning people from getting big gulps. And, you should, and you should welcome freaking potheads. You should welcome all kinds of retail and things like that. More freedom. Hello. But what's so crazy is that the thing is the big gulps are being banned by New York Democrats, while they're acting just like I'm sorry, I do not want to be rude, I do not want to be mean to this person, and God, it's just because I do not like infighting. That's one thing I just want to point out. This is not infighting. This is not me shitting on anyone. This is me shitting on an argument, okay? That's way different than shitting on someone's character. Let me point that out to you. Okay, I shouldn't have to point it out, but I feel like I do. Why do I feel like that? Who knows? So anyway, he points out that big gulps are being banned while potheads are being welcomed to Colorado. Okay. Big gulps shouldn't be banned. More freedom. People should be able to choose how they want to voluntarily. You know, like how much soda they drink and everything. It's their health, their business. How they want to die is on them. You know? Just saying. And then they want to say, like, oh, and then they welcome in potheads. Like, what's wrong with that? More freedom. You know, like, they're already starting out with a negative point of view on potheads. Like, potheads aren't good people in general. So, and then he goes on, he goes like, this is despite the fact that potheads are almost universally recognized as unmotivated, low class, and degenerate. And yes, smelly failures. Even the ones that get somewhere in life, like Barack Obama, usually turn out to be mediocrites. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, not really. There is, like, literally, I know some, there are some potheads that I know that are very successful. I mean, like, they fight for Second Amendment rights, you know, as a lawyer. And that's all I'm going to say. You know? And they're huge potheads. And they're freaking successful. I mean, sharp mind, everything. You can't believe everything that is fed to you, you know, back from the freaking 80s and all that shit, whenever they were still, like, pushing reefer madness. And, like, that's just, like, it just fucking blows my mind. Like, that's, I mean, like, I wrote right down right here, that's an ad hominem fallacy, you know? Like, they're literally just going, like, and they're going to try to explain it, but it becomes like a fallacy of, like, appealing to emotion or something. I forgot what that was called. But it's all, you know, emotional SJW crap, I think. You know, I mean, I got arguments against it. So, and he continues, moreover, we all recognize that smoking is a dirty habit that makes you die younger, while drinking is potentially dangerous, habit that leads to hundreds and thousands of deaths per year. I cannot speak today. Anyway, but we want to condone pot use on top of that. That's like saying you've got a bad back and a bad shoulder, so why not break your kneecap on top of all? That's a false dichotomy. Another fallacy in logic. That comes from another emotional place, too. So, that's not a good argument. It really isn't. I mean, because like I said, people have the choice to die how they want to. People have the choice to live as they want to, as long as they're not encroaching on other people's rights. That's the way it should be, literally. That is how the Constitution is set up. That's what we're supposed to be conserving. But conservative has a whole different flavor than it used to. You know, which is bad. This is, you know, this you have to understand, the war on drugs was part of the UN, if I'm not mistaken. It was either part of the EU or the UN. And then we adopted it, and you know, through Bill Clinton, I believe. No, God, no, Reagan did the war on drugs. Who did the war on drugs? I'm looking it up, people. We're going to find out together. Let's see. No, I don't want no Wikipedia. A brief history of drug war. Early stages prohibition. Oh, okay. It looks like it was Nixon. Nixon. Yep. He's the one who did the war on drugs. There's probably a lot of people yelling at me like, yeah, you idiot. God damn, you could have... But yeah, you know, so yeah, it was that guy, Nixon. I'm not a crook. So anyway, the war on drugs, complete failure. Anyway, let's continue with this freaking article. Okay, I'm sorry. So, the first of his 5 reasons he comes up with, because we haven't even gotten to the reasons yet. Like, he's like just trying to lead us into the 5 reasons that I just went over. You know, the things that I just pointed out. It was part of his little introduction, if you will, into his 5 reasons of why we should keep marijuana illegal. So, first, it's extremely addictive for some people. God, you freaking racist. Don't you understand? Some people got, sensitive sensibilities and shit. And, they're, like, born with addictive personality. So, like, you freaking racist. Why would you legalize marijuana? It sounds like a conservative SJW is what I'm trying to get across. I'm sorry. I know that was weird. I know. But what I'm trying to say here is that it's another appeal to emotion. It really is. It's like, oh, there's people out there that struggle with addiction, and so we must wipe out every marijuana plants. Okay. Well, they're gonna bust down the door for some CBD oils and shit. So, he has quotes and everything like, it would be malpractice to say cannabis isn't addictive. It's like, okay, that's another stupid argument that the left makes, that, oh, it's non-addictive. No, that's wrong. It is addictive, but it's only addicted to certain people. But the thing about that is that not everyone gets addicted to it. Like alcohol and cigarettes, Some people can just put it down and, stop doing it. And that's why it's legal, because people just in doing it on their off. And there should be no problem with that. There should be no encroachment on someone's right to blaze up a joint at the end of their work period after they, struggled all day in their construction job, whatever they're doing, and, relax in their own home. That's another thing. It's crazy. It's in their own home. Own home. That's your palace. Castle law. Okay, and then he goes like, this experiment hasn't worked out so well in Amsterdam. And then he goes like, okay, so I'm just going to directly quote what he said here. Human beings, what they are, just about any stupid idea we can come up with has already been tried somewhere else. Amsterdam is the most famous place across the world that has effectively legalized pot. It has even turned into a tourist destination for potheads. Legalizing weed has been a huge success there, right? Actually, not so much. Its citizens are now alarmed that their children are increasingly being exposed to it. I just imagine like all those SJW people that were like screeching to the sky whenever Donald Trump was being inaugurated. Me. I mean, like, seriously, that's like such a weak argument. Okay, first of all, the article that he connects to is an article from 2012. Okay, keep that in mind.